And welcome everybody again. We are here all together, Federico, Pat, for day, what is the day? 6 today, right?
Right, day 6th.
It is a very important day.
7. Sorry, in fact, it's the 7th because the 6th was yesterday.
Yesterday, because I wasn't here yesterday, so I need to update myself. So day 7, so we are already 7 days into the marathon. So we are sweaty and but experienced with a lot of information. So, and today we do something different, right, Federico?
Right. Hello, Pat. Hello, Lele. And today, what we're going to do is another meditation, and it's a totally different meditation. We're going from the shower type meditation, where we feel the things that our body feels, to a more bed type meditation, where we're going to imagine things. And it's absolutely different of what we have been doing. So let me take just 5 minutes to explain. Probably I'll do it a little less to explain what we're going to do. We call this meditation the Palace of Joy. And this is basically based on 2 things. One is a kind of meditation which came back to the US and Western countries via mindfulness, but actually it's a Western meditation in origin. It's very interesting. It's called the method of Loki, with basically, that is L-O-C-E, not K-E. It's basically something that the Greeks used to do, to remember things, to be aware of things, and to especially be more creative. They had a kind of meditation which was brought to the East by the Jesuit missionaries, and then the Chinese and the Indians took it and repackaged it and sent it to us. And this is the main part of the meditation. And the way to do it is very simple. It's because we as humans are genetically programmed to have a better spatial memory than an abstract memory. And this makes sense, right? If you were a hunter-gatherer or whatever, you need to know where was your hut or your cave or whatever it was, instead of, I don't know, doing a list of things. It's a lot more important knowing where the animals were, where your home was, where the water was. So we have a much better spatial memory, actually, than any other type of memory. And this is also the way of being creative. For example, if you want to be, a lot of people, if want to be more creative, they take walks in the park, or basically they move around. But they usually, what they do is they move. They actually do something with their bodies in space. So what are we going to do today? We're going to do a very simple meditation based on that, but it has some twists. First, what we're going to do, we're going to pick a place where you're very, very familiar with. And this, my advice, could be your home. But let's say it's not your home right now because you just moved. Could be your childhood home, could be your, I don't know, your office, whatever you feel very comfortable. And we're going to do a small, very quick look around, like if we were there. We're going to stand open. We want us to stand behind the closed door. We're going to open it. We're going to imagine that we walk, and we'll go from the open door to the farthest place, whatever that is. It could be a room, it could be a bedroom, whatever it is, the farthest place from the door. And we're going to double back, right? This is going to be the first way. And in the second part, we're going to do the same, but we're going to do in the middle, just before the middle of the way to the farthest point, we're going to install something that brings us joy. And this is a very important part, that sparks some joy. That when we see it, when we feel it, we'll feel more creative, more alive. And this could be a work of art. This could be a dish. This could be a situation, whatever you want, but we're going to imagine something that brings us joy, right? And we're going to do it just for a second. We're going to stand there and watch it, and we're going to do it on the way to the farthest point, on the farthest point, and on the way back. And this will help us 3 things. First, will help us with the memory. Second, it will help us relax, because when things are happy for us, when things are warm and creative, we tend to relax naturally, right? And the third one, it will help us with our creativity, because we're going to try to focus a little bit on imagining all the senses. Imagine how something feels, how something is seen, how something sounds, how something is smell. But basically, we're going to involve all the senses. So a more complex technique, but let's recap very easily. Find someone that you're familiar, do just a tour, and then we install three things, right? Three things that bring us joy. Could be things, could be situations, could be emotions, whatever you want, but just in the three spots. So far, so good, or was it a little bit too complex? Okay. So let's close our eyes. And let's take, as always, 3 deep breaths. And now we're going to imagine that we stand before a door. A door to somewhere familiar. I'm going to imagine the open door, for example, in our home or in our office. And we step into the place. And we look. We look and we feel and we're back there. And now we're going to go walking slowly. We're not going to skip any room. Like we did always, to the farthest point. Could be another room, could be a kitchen, could be a bedroom. But we're going to go there. And we're going to find us in the farthest place. We're going to look how it feels. And we're going to turn back. And again, slowly, we're going to go back to the front door. Passing bedrooms, the bathrooms, the kitchen, the living rooms. And we're going to find ourselves standing in the front of the door without leaving the place. So now we turn again back, looking into the home or into the office from the starting point of the front door. And now we're going to walk back, but we're going to stop a little bit before the midway point between the front door and the farthest place from the front door. And we're going to stop and we're going to look. And there we're going to see something beautiful that brings us pleasure and that sparks joy for all of us. Could be a work of art, could be a plant or an animal. It could be a dish or a situation even. But we're going to choose something that brings us joy and see it there, imagine it there. We're going to imagine how it sees, how it seems, how it feels. We're going to imagine the smell, the texture of it. And we're going to imagine the joy that is spread to our body. Now we're going to leave it and head back towards the farthest place from the front door that we were going to. And we're going to imagine that we walk there, we pass the rooms, and in that place, we're going to find another thing that sparks joy. We're going to imagine how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds, the smells, the texture of it. Could be a situation, a work of art, a plate of food, an animal, a plant. If we find that we cannot see it right away, we just focus on the joy. And the joy will make it appear before us. But we'll focus on the sensation, not the shape. And now we're going to turn back and go back to the front door. And just before the midway point, inside of the first object, we're going to see a last one. And again, we're going to stand there in this place which is familiar, looking and feeling that which sparks joy in us. How it looks, how it feels, how it sounds. And now we're going to go back to the front door. Open it and step outside, open our eyes. And we can relax and finish. So, a little bit different than what has come before, right?
Yeah, definitely. Different feeling.
How did you find the visualization? Were you able to imagine it?
Yes, I was in my hometown in the room when I was born in my home at that place. So I went back to that location, and that was interesting. Yeah.
That's excellent. That's excellent. How about you, Pat? Everything all right?
Yeah, it's nice. A good way that I've also seen this taught is if you can, visualize the way to work that you usually go to and all the doors that you encounter. And every time that you touch a door handle or a doorknob, you associate somehow with joy. So as you're walking into work or leaving work, each time you get like a little boost.
Right, right. That's exactly. It's another technique which is very much like this. Whenever you walk a door or something, you have this kind of affirmation, right? For example, I'm going to enjoy and I'm going to be happy, and it's very powerful technique just to be mindful of where you are and associate things with things that you want. It's very powerful. But we're going to put everything together in the last meditation that we're going to do on the Friday. But since it's something new, better get practicing soon for everyone.
And
So, guys.
But another of the point is anytime you watch the present show, you should associate it with joy, right? So that's
Right.
the practice of the handle. So that's for our listeners, to bring it to this connection.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. So guys, shall we see tomorrow? And
Tomorrow with day 8. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Federico. It's been a very nice journey so far. Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
See you
Pat.
tomorrow.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.